Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to start the IGNITE Stage session. Let me introduce myself. My name is Léo Muller from the French High Committee for Civil Defense, which is an NGO. So the origin of the program is a partnership with the French Ministry for Ecology and the study in sustainable development. Sorry. So the goal of our study was to create an index to assess territories on the resilient topic, and the aim was to give territories the ability to have an index to monitor their preparation, their prevention policies, and response and reparation policies. So we have made this study with the long-term objective to create an internet model to give territories the ability to conduct their own resilience study. So the objectives are to assess the feasibility of such an index. So the map of the territory we assess, you can see in green all the communities that answered our questionnaire, because we had to collect data and the only mean we had was to build questionnaire. We built a website on which all the actors we had to collect data from were asked to answer the questionnaire online. So a good participation for this study. So all the actors involved, you can see the state authority on the local level, the communities, the state natural and industrial hazard prevention department. On this territory, it's the referent actor in order to know hazards and threats. We have also the fire department, the public health services, the hazardous industrial plants, and the local education ministry body. So as you can see, it's a large amount of actors, and we have all the how can I say from prevention to response. So here's an example of the website to collect data. So you can see we have here a questionnaire about risk perception. So each kind of actors had their own questionnaire. So here is what was the trend of the development of the resilience index. In fact, you can see we have 4 different variables assessing the risk. You have occurrence, intensity, exposure, and vulnerability, and you have also 4 variables assessing what we have called reactivity. So management, consciousness, preparedness, and anticipation. So the main trend of this index is to have a comparison of a gravity mark and a reactivity mark, which will at the end give us the resilience index. So here you have the structure. In fact, we have a global resilience index which can be switched within a meteorological hazard resilience index, an industrial hazard resilience index, and also a geological hazard resilience index. The goal was to have also a lower level assessment of the resilience, and by risk a risk assessment on an assessment to compare with the threat level on the territory within those 3 kind of hazards. So all the index study was built with the fuzzy logic. In fact, we have built a mathematical model to calculate automatically all the index, and the fuzzy logic was used. In fact, this kind of mathematical model help us to have connection between variables that are calibrated, and each step of calculation is different. It helps us to have all the variables ordinated, and also to have to take into account their specialities and their different weights in the calculation of the index. So here you can see the one hazard resilience index, the gravity, the reactivity, switched into the 4 variables of gravity, 4 variables of reactivity, and then you have all the subtopics of each variables. So you can see it's a wide index collecting a large amount of data from a large amount of topics. So some other data about the territory. It's a yellow territory. So we had a large amount of inhabitants and 82 communities. We had 61 communities that answered our questionnaire. On this territory, the major threat is the flood. So you can see on this map all the communities that are concerned by hazard. In green, you have storm and earthquake. In yellow, you have storm, earthquake, and flood. And in orange, you have storm, earthquake, flood, and also landslide. So to have a global index, we had to, in short way, to define what is resilience for this index. In fact, we have a gravity mark, we have a reactivity mark. We thought that a resilient territory is not only a territory that has a gravity mark that is equal to the reactivity mark. So we had to take into account that there can be some unpredictable unknowns. So we define the global index. You can see on the right of the slide that to have a mark of 5 for the global index, you have to have a gravity mark of 3 and a reactivity mark of 5, or a gravity mark of 2 and a reactivity mark of 4. It means that you have 2 points more for the reactivity than for the gravity mark, in order to take into account this possible unknown level of hazard. And then it goes to have a 4 mark for the index. You have to have a positive difference of 1 point for the reactivity, and then the strict equality of gravity and reactivity is in yellow, and you only have a 3 index, which means the territory is kind of resilient, but not enough resilience for index. So the one of the interest of this study was to have to display the result on a graphic to show all variables and the comparison of variables. We have chosen this set to compare exposure to consciousness, intensity to preparedness, vulnerability to management, and also occurrence versus anticipation. So you can see this territory had a great anticipation about meteorological hazards, but in the meantime, you see the occurrence is very low. We have this territory has some work to do about intensity and preparedness, because I can see intensity is very high and preparedness is medium. So it helps the territories actor that have competencies in resilience to have a monitoring tool and to drive in their choice to make their territory more resilient. So as we can see, the 8 variables. These 8 variables also guided us to another program that we wanted to set, and which is actually set. In fact, we have developed the Orange Flag, that is an award we give to communities that are very active in what we call in France sauvegarde, and what could be translated as a safeguard, guarantee. In case of disaster, community is able to provide to a population a shelter and also a support to recover. And from this point for communities, we also developed with the French Ministry for Ecology and the IFO-RME, which is also here at the UNESDR global platform. You can see them on the French corner. We developed the Orange Shield, and the aim was to give schools an award to reward them for their policy in developing child consciousness and program about risk culture development within schools, and also to award them for their preparation programs within the school and their their planning in case of disaster within the school. So a school can can claim their award if they have done all those important measures that we think. Thank. If you have questions, I'm just at the French corner.